Good evening, Sir Chan. We are the group of seminarian from San Jose de Mindanao Seminary. My name is Warren Apoliniciona.
I am Dominic Pitaneo.
I am Marlon Sinagat.
And Michael Pedroso Acalo.
And we are here to share our 2-minute video about despair. So first, myself, I have one-time experience the greatest despair of my academic life during my first year and the first semester of oral final examination with Sir Barton and Ted. I was in despair because I was in anxiety and depression because I rejected the divine providence of God and believed only in myself, my intellectual ability of which I thought that I can do things on my own. But I was very wrong. I lost my confidence and even degrade myself until I was stuck on the thought that I am limited being and I could not do things, and I wished to give up that time and stop living a life where despair, pain, and anxiety always eat me alive. Every day the experience was too much. I could not eat well, think straight, or sleep. I was always in the thought of what if. What if I could not give the right answer? What if I am not good enough? What if and what if, and the lots of what ifs. And during that time, the predominant feelings that I have was feeling of fear, fear of disappointments, fear of feeling those who have trusted uh, those who have trusted me, and those who have prayed for me for my successful academic life in the seminary formation. And the dominant thoughts during that experience was that I have this thought that maybe I should give up my vocation, change my course, and go home. But the worst thought that I ever had during that time was on thinking how to end my life. I think and imagine on jumping from a seminary two-story building, and I also thought of hanging myself. But the outcome in all those anxiety and negativity of my despair was hope. It made me think that I could not do things on my own and that I am not alone. As I share my despair to my brother seminarians, all of them helps me feel at peace and comfortable in some way. By that experience, I realized that God is present. He is really alive. And in His very mysterious way, He helps me fight my demons and console my soul. That in the end, I realized that I am just a pilgrim of this world, and one day I will be united with God until the day that I will be really at peace. That I decided today I decided to not let my demons like anxiety and depression eat me alive. That the academic problems should not overcome me or be overwhelmed by fear of disappointment. But instead, I must learn to trust in God and let things be like Tao, like the principle of Tao named Wui, which means let things be. Simplicity and just be simple.
And as for my experience, one of the darkest moments in my life that made me feel to despair was the death of my mother. One of my darkest experiences that I have was when my mother died. My mother died because of the rare disease. I think it was multiple myeloma, and she had a cancer in the blood, stage 4. I still remember the day when her disease started to infect her body. I was a grade, I was a grade 6 pupil at that time. It was my graduation day, and she prayed to attend the ceremony because the day before that certain event, she rushed to the hospital. I thought, I thought that time that her disease was just like a normal disease that can be cured. As time passes by, her condition became normal, but here comes the day that we never expected that her disease would be worse. The doctor informed us that my mom had a multiple myeloma and cancer in the blood stage 4. We did everything we can to save my mother from her condition. But suddenly, on July 19, 2015, she passed away at in the 3, exactly 3 in the afternoon. And for that rhythm feeling, I cannot explain what I felt at the time. I just feel hopeless and I don't know what to do, especially I was very close to my mother. Or I am a mama's boy. I just cried and it's like my heart pierces me a sharp pain every time I reminisce of bonding experiences where she was still alive. And for 2 minute thoughts, The only thing in my mind that time was this question: how can I continue this earthly living without the presence and guidance of my mom? I am so sensitive at that time. Every time people ask me how's my situation, I describe it. There's a certain word to express how painful it was. That time, there was a certain dark thought in my mind that I wanted to end my life just to see my mom in the afterlife. And the outcome, despite that incident, I immediately accept the fact that my mom is not with us anymore. It's like the emptiness in my heart filled with acceptance, and it made me feel to continue my life by following and living the teachings she taught. And for realization, I realized that though it was a very painful experience, but it gives me strength to continue living in this world, and it made me become an independent person. Though my mother's not with us anymore, but her teachings, memories, and her love will always remain in my heart forever. And the decision throughout this experience, the day when I realized why that painful moment happened, I decided to continue. And I just said to myself that, Lord, guide me always, especially my mom is not with us anymore. And here I am today, sitting beside him, living with the teachings of my mom. And I know she's always with me wherever I go.
I have also experienced a lot of this fear, but I had a worse experience when I lost a loved one, my mother and my younger brother. It was last January 2021, and I was at home that time when my twin brother, Marlon Alaga, shouted out loud asking for help. Uh, that my that my mom cannot be awakened and she died in her sleep. I was so devastated that I made kick the wall so hard that it hurt me. But the pain is more painful than losing my mom. After five months of that terrible experience, my younger followed my mom to heaven by committing suicide. I was so hopeless and great despair for I could not anything as I am away in the seminary at that moment. Uh, that time my predominant feeling is anger towards God for letting it happen to our family. That I was so disappointed in God that I lost my faith in Him. I hardly pray or call upon His name. At that moment, the dominant thought that I experienced is confusion, like why it happens to our family when I am here in the seminary worshiping God and serving Him all the way I can. I was confused because of how can He allow it to happen to us. Uh, after the after the experience, the outcome was I am no longer faithful to God. I am not like I used to be that I am physically present in the chapel but mentally absent or spiritually absent. I just cannot easily forgive and forget God at that time. Uh, I realized that blaming God has no benefits and it's not worth and it's not worth that blame. I am just good enough towards my family that I realized that I must be stronger and appreciative of what I have that I must spend the little time I have with them with pure sincerity and love because who knows when we will die. I decided to continue my dedication and trust in God and also to meet my everyday as a part of my family that I told him and make a good connection even we are far away.
So, in my experience in the period of despair, when I did not pass the first take of entrance exam of XU, the seminary presented me to Archbishop Antonio Ledesma after the mass of the seminary that I am qualified to continue to the college seminary in San Jose if I pass the entrance exam of XU. In my first take, I found out that the result of my exam was failed and did not pass it. I felt despair and looking down myself that I am a failure and starting to doubt to my vocation and thinking that maybe God did not choose me in this vocation and always saying, why should I pass that I am a trivial student and I doubt my grace and intellect. The predominant feelings that I feel is when I am afraid of embarrassment, disappointment, and looking myself as a failure, that I broke the trust and expectation of my parents and friends. So the dominant thoughts during the experience of this period, maybe God did not choose me to become a priest, and I must give up my vocation and let myself decide to take another course. And during those times, I did not receive any signs from God through the people. So my outcome, I'm a kind of person, I am always overthinking and losing my hope and negative thoughts and making myself failure and unqualified person. But all of this experience, I take courage to seek God, and in my prayer, I ask God to give me another chance to pass the second time exam, and I said to God, saying, Lord, if it is your will that I cannot pass the exam, still your will be done. And if you grant me another chance to pass, still your will be done. Lord, I am just a person who wants to follow your will. And if you choose, it will be done. If you choose me, it will be done. Please respond to my humble prayer to God. That was my prayer to God. And in my realization, I realized that God gave me this grace of priestly vocation. And I can prove it in saying, with God there is hope if we only trust in His ways and be patient because God works in the mysterious and wonderful ways. That so my decision into this decision, uh, God gives me the grace of priestly vocation, and and I will continue this vocation that He entrusts in me, even in my unworthiness, and I won't let the devil destroy my vocation, and to follow His will for the greater glory of God, and to continue praying for this grace that He entrusted me, the vocation, the grace of perseverance.
Hey, thank you so much, everyone, especially to my group for sharing their despair about the despair and hope of life that we somehow enlighten of how great God is and how God works in our lives. And thank you also, sir, for watching our video and to those who may watch our video. And that would end our sharing. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.